I grew up witnessing my father abuse my poor mother to death, and I hated him for that. Now, I find it strange how some people experience bad things in their lives, and in turn, try to inflict the same on others. Just to clarify, I'm not bragging, neither am I proud of what I've done to those two ladies. For the record, I deserve everything that they've done to me in return. This is my confession of all the abuse I inflicted on those two innocent ladies. My first girlfriend and I dated for 3 years. Poor thing, the horrific beating I inflicted on her. When we first met, she had a lot of stress in her life. A $30,000 university bill, two outstanding credit card bills for $15,000, and rent in arrears. I took care of it all. She had an old car, and one morning the bailiff came and took it. I bought her a brand new Benz. She wanted to do some cosmetic surgeries, even though I didn't think it was necessary, because she was already a beautiful girl. I paid for it anyway, and she didn't have to work. I gave her financial security, what most people want, isn't it? I started to isolate her from all her friends and her family. Everyone who knew her saw it in a different class. Little did she know that once she got used to that type of life, it would be hard to let go, no matter what the cause. This is where it began to truly get ugly for her. One evening, I came home from work wanting to make love to her. She told me that she was tired and stressed, and she wasn't feeling like it. I grabbed her by the throat, slapped her around a bit, and forced myself on her. I thought to myself, how dare you tell me about tiredness? I'm the one who goes to work all day, stressing out myself to maintain our lavish lifestyle. The next day, while I was at work, I sent her some red roses and a note apologising. Looking back, that was wrong of me. She could have been really stressed. Stress makes anyone feel tired. I should have been more understanding towards her feelings. It didn't stop there. One day, she was in the living room, laughing and talking on her phone. I heard her mention "I love you," and my jealous rage kicked in. All I could imagine was another guy on the other side of the line chatting with her. I grabbed the phone and tossed it against the wall. I started hitting her. She ended up in the hospital with 2 broken ribs. I then found out that she was talking to her little nephew on the phone. Over the 3 years, I've been so horrible to her. She didn't deserve any of it. I gave her multiple split lips, black eyes, and bruises all over her body. I manipulated her and drove fear into her. In case you're asking yourself this question, why didn't she go to the police? The reason why she didn't was fear. Fear of losing the financial security, fear of what her friends would think, fear of going back to the life she had before she met me. She was broken, and that's what I wanted. One thing I did not expect was one evening I got home from work and saw my safe open. I thought a thief had broken in. Then I realised that her clothes weren't there. She was gone. She took $500,000 from the safe, and I was furious. At the time, if I'd caught her, I would have hurt her really bad. But looking back, I regret what I had done to her. The $500,000 is a small price to pay for the horror I caused her. I totally deserved it. The stress I gave her was worse than all the bills she had. Now let me tell you about the other woman, my wife. When I met her, she told me that she hadn't dated for a year because her last relationship was a violent one. Her partner almost killed her, and she wouldn't want to have to go through that again. One thing she said had me thinking. She told me that if any man tries that again, she will kill him and go spend time in prison if she has to. Nevertheless, just like I did with my first girlfriend, I roped her in. I got her to feel secure, isolated her from her loved ones. I was a real estate businessman. My company was worth millions, and financially, I was set. Girls love security, and some like a rich man. If you can offer financial security, it doesn't matter if you're ugly or not. Don't get me wrong, there are some independent ladies out there who don't care about your bank account. They know what they want, what they're worth, and they refuse to settle for less than what they know they deserve. I apologise if I offended anyone. I was brutal from the get-go because my first girlfriend ran off with my money. It left me bitter, insecure, paranoid, and I find it hard to trust. 3 weeks into our relationship, she went out with a few of her friends. I tried calling her more than 20 times without any reply. All I could think of was her getting with someone else. I wasn't even thinking if she was okay. Immediately when she got home, without asking why, I started to accuse her of cheating. I dragged her out of her car and started to unleash kicks, slaps. I grabbed her throat. I almost choked her to death. The neighbour came to the rescue, and it turned out that her mobile phone had died. I was a jealous, abusive coward, and I deserved what she's about to do to me, and more, for all the horrific things I've done to her. I humiliated her in front of family and friends. It's funny. Sometimes when a partner is cheating, they get so paranoid they might even accuse the other of doing the same. One evening, she followed me to a hotel and caught me between the sheets with another woman. She was furious and started to beat the other woman. I pulled them apart and started to beat her in the most brutal way. I could see how shocked the other woman was. When we got home, she started packing her stuff to leave me. I grabbed her by her hair, told her if she ever tried to leave me, I'd kill her. That's when she told me that she was expecting, and I was so happy to hear that I was going to be a father. I might be a monster, but throughout the pregnancy, I didn't put my hands on her. So cut a long story short, 6 months after our son was born, the beating started again. I got home very drunk one night, and we had a heated argument. She called me a controlling freak. I grabbed her hair and started to beat her. Because I was so drunk, I must have fallen. As I tried to get back up, she reached for the chopper knife on the kitchen counter. As I held onto the kitchen counter to pull myself up, she used the knife and chopped off my hand. I saw my hand flapping around on the floor like a fish. That's when I remembered her words. If any man tries that again, she will kill him and go spend time in prison if she has to. I was drunk and vulnerable. She tried to chop me again, but I ran outside and screamed for help. I lost so much blood, I must have passed out. I woke up in the hospital, full of knife wounds. I was told that my neighbour saved my life, and my wife was in jail for attempted murder. I couldn't let her suffer like my mother suffered for my father's actions. I needed to man up and take responsibility for my actions. I went to the police station and confessed to all the horrific things I've done to her over the 5 years we've been together. When I told the police that I almost choked her to death, but the neighbour saved her, my neighbour confirmed the story. The police saw her action as self-defence, and they had no choice but to set her free, lock me up, and charge me. As you can see, I'm talking to you behind bars because I confessed. I got 24 months in prison. When I finish my sentence, I'm planning to use some of my money to start a charity that helps women and girls who've been abused to rebuild their lives. Also, I don't expect my wife to take me back into her life after all I put her through, but I will play a father's role in my son's life. Maybe I can prevent him from making the same mistake I did. I'm not asking for forgiveness, but within myself, I'm extremely sorry for the part I played in inflicting violence on those ladies. Speak out, seek help, and stand against violence against women and girls. Together, we can create a world free from fear, where love and respect prevail. Let's break the cycle and build a future filled with compassion and understanding.